Well, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually explain that although I have many, many years of legal and immigration experience, I'm terrible with technology, and I was probably the worst person to be your host tonight. But because I don't know how to go to the next page, and that was always the plan, and that's not working. So what I'll do instead is I will figure that out. Well, I can see that I know everyone's now saying that they can hear us. Thank you for letting us know that you can hear us. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming here on online tonight. We appreciate the time that you're taking to speak to us, or at least listen to us and hear what we have to say with regards to visas and immigration here in New Zealand. As a introduction, I am obviously Nassim. I'm not a Filipino, though I have been asked that when I have been in the Philippines in the past. And I think it has to do with how I wear my hair sometimes. The plan tonight is to go through several things. The first being just a brief introduction of who we are, so that you know who we are and what our background is. And then we'll move into the nitty-gritty of the actual details of the visas and everything that I know that everyone's super keen to hear about tonight. So myself, my name is Nassim. I'm a licensed immigration advisor, and I've been here at Working In for nearly 10 years. And during that time, I have assisted over 4,000 Filipinos with visas and immigration. I have been up to the Philippines several times myself to help employers recruit and to find skilled workers, and then subsequently help their families come to New Zealand and also then obtain residence. I haven't been to Manila since just before the lockdown. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to visit your beautiful country. I'm sure those of you that are joining us here today from New Zealand, your hearts and your well wishes are with family that are back home, that are dealing with some of the issues that are happening there with the typhoon. But hopefully we'll be able to help you with some information to allow you to stay here, to confirm your pathway to residence so that they can come and join you here in New Zealand as well. What I will do is introduce you to Liam and to Kathleen. Firstly, we'll start with Liam. Liam recently joined us here at Working In after returning to New Zealand from overseas. I'll hand it over to you, Liam.
Thank you, Nassim. Look, hi everyone, my name's Liam. I'm one of the licensed advisors here at Working In. I'm new to the family here, and it's been a great time so far. As Nassim mentioned, I've just returned from overseas, and that is Southeast Asia, the hub of Bangkok, where I was based for the last 12 years. So I am missing lots of shared lunches, lots of street food, lots of no sleep sometimes, but it is good to be home as well. I've worked in the immigration space for about 12 years, both as an immigration advisor and an immigration officer. We were the hub branch, we call the hub for Southeast Asia, where we would process or support other branches within Southeast Asia. So I do have a bit of inside knowledge about how Immigration New Zealand would manage these types of applications, especially from people in the Southeast Asia market. Tonight, my job is to take you through some of the more important elements of the residence from work visa applications, and some of the things to look at, some of the challenges, and especially challenges for this market. So now I'll hand you over to our in-house Pinoy visa guru, Kat. Take it away, Kat.
Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Nassim. Hi, good evening. As was said by Liam, I'm Kathleen. So I've been working with Working In for nearly 4 years now. So I'm not a licensed immigration advisor, unlike Nassim and Liam, but I've been with the immigration industry for 4 years now, since I've started working with Working In. So I'm also from the Philippines, as you can see. And I came here, I think year 2015 to study and yeah, to further my study. And so that's how I got my visa team administrator role here in Working In. We've got, I've been assisting like 8 immigration advisors here in, not like all of them, but most of them I've assisted them. But I mainly assisted with Tawachalanan before. So if he'd been your advisor before, yeah, I was the one who assisted him. And yeah, I'm still currently assisting them right now. So we've been working with different types of visas, and that includes the residence from work that we are going to discuss now. So I would just like to give you a quick background about our company. So our company is called Working International Visas Limited, as mentioned by Nasim, and we are like the owner of the page Pinoy Visas NZ, wherein if you haven't liked yet, you can like now. Okay, and also our office is here in Ponsonby. So if you are nearby our office, just stop by and say hello. We are a company who are full of friendly people, I think. Yeah, so just stop by. And also, as I mentioned earlier, we have 8 immigration advisors here in Working In, and we've got also a lot of Filipino admins here who are working closely with these immigration advisors, so we can process the visas who are more catered to Filipinos. And yes, so if you haven't liked our website as well, which is Pinoy Visas and Working In Visas, we will pop the link for that one, and you can start liking. Okay, and yeah, I think that's all for now about our company, and I'll just turn the floor to Nasim again. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. So I think I might suggest to everyone that I'm not going to bother with the technical aspects of trying to make this seem like a fancier webinar that it is, because we all know that the main reason that you're here is to find out the details of the visas and what you need to think about. So we'll probably leave those off, and anything important or anything that you can use, we'll try to pop the information down into the chat box so that you can just copy and paste it. And then instead you can look at our beautiful faces in the meantime anyway. So now that we've dealt with the fact that I have no technical computer skills, we'll get into the nitty-gritty. So thank you, Kathleen, and also Liam, to telling us about a little bit of yourselves and our company and who we are and how many people that we've helped over the years. As Kathleen said, yes, we are very, very friendly. Depending on when you happen to pop by the office, there's probably cake, a birthday, and some pizza going on. I'm not promising anything. I'm just letting you know what we're like. So let's talk about the main reasons. So Liam, if you don't mind, can you please talk about the basic requirements? Well, actually, let's just start with who qualifies. So Who qualifies for residence from work? And then following on from that, the basic requirements that all applicants are basically going to have to consider. And then also some of the challenges that applicants might face and how to overcome them, and then how we can assist with that whole process.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Nasim. And look, you know, the first thing, of course, is who qualifies for residence from work. The main requirement is that you have been on a work to residence visa under the talented accredited employer or the long-term skills shortage list. Now, I would like to say LTSSL all night because it's easier, but I'll say long-term skills shortage list visa. These are the 2 categories that we are going to focus on tonight. There are other categories that people can qualify for residence, but tonight the focus is on the residence from work, talent accredited employer, and long-term skills shortage list. So basically, you should have had that visa, the work to residence visa, already, or be on it already.
Okay. So, ita-translate ko lang po yung sinabi ni Liam. So, para ma-qualify ka for the residence from work visa, so dapat nasa category ka ng work to residence accredited employer or work to residence long-term skills shortage list or LTSSL. So, hindi ka makakapag-apply ng residence from work kung wala ka sa category na yon. Yep.
Thanks, Kat.
Mhm.
Now, look, let's get into some more details about it. For the talent accredited employer, the employer needs to be accredited or needed to be accredited. Now, if they're not accredited at the moment, don't worry. Come and have a chat to us, and we can look at your circumstances and see how we can manage that for you. There has been a lot of changes in the last year, I would say, before COVID, and then of course COVID. So we understand that there's been a lot of changes in the industry and a lot of changes for you guys. Come and have a chat, and we can have a look at it. Come and have a chat. You need to have the work to residence visa that was based on 55,000 New Zealand dollars, or if you applied more recently, looking at the $79,000 mark. One really good thing about this is that you can include your eligible family members, which we'll get into a little more later.
Okay. So, sabi ni Liam, i-translate ko lang ulit. So, para dito sa work to residence accredited employer, dapat yung employer is accredited. So, pag hindi daw accredited, pwede nyo kaming i-approach about that kasi may possibility na pwede, ganyan. So, depende yan sa assessment ng immigration advisor. So, dapat i-contact nyo lang kami about that one. Kasi dahil sa mga nangyari sa recent COVID and everything, may yun. So, baka pwede pa rin kayong makapag-apply even if may nangyari within that period na yan, nung COVID time. Also, isa sa mga requirements na sinabi niya is yung dapat ma-meet mo yung annual income na 55,000 per year annually, or kung recently nag-apply ka ng work to residence visa mo, dapat ma-meet mo yung bagong threshold na 79,000 something. Yeah. And also, last thing na mention niya is about pwede mong i-include yung family. So, wife or kids, pwede yan. So, i-discuss yan further.
Thanks,
Okay.
Kat.
Yep.
Moving on to the long-term skill shortage list. Again, it's the basic requirements. They are quite straightforward. You need to have held the long-term skill shortage list work visa for the 24 months. You need to have continued to meet any occupational registration during that time, and like the other visa, you can also include your eligible family members, partner, children, etc.
Okay, so for the LTSSL naman, dapat yung visa mo, dapat nakahawak ka ng LTSSL work visa. And then yung second is dapat ma-meet mo yung occupational requirements, for example, yung licensing. And also, pwede mo i-include yung family mo as the same as yung sa work to residence accredited employer.
Thanks, Kat. So, again, some of the basic requirements, again, you must have worked for 24 months on the noted visa, whether it be talent accredited or through the long-term skill shortage list, but you must have also earned, 55,000 again in each of the 2 years if you're on the work to residence accredited employer. Another thing that's really important, especially for you guys, is to meet health and character. Health, usually okay for you guys. Character, not so much a problem for character, but getting those certificates. And we'll get into that a bit more after this because it seems to be a hot topic, police certificates and Pinoy.
Okay, so again, ine-emphasize lang niya yung basic requirements for these residents from work. So at least naka 24 months ka sa visa mo as starting nung nakuha mo yung work to residence mo. At least 55,000 annually each year sa 2 years, sa 24 months na yon under work to residence. And dapat ma-meet mo daw yung health and character requirements. So yung health and character requirements, i-discuss later on. Yeah, kasi...
For now.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, I just wanted to take a moment to share some of the challenges that we see in our office with the, many customers that we work with, but also some of the challenges that I saw when I was working with Immigration New Zealand. Recently, of course, wages, and whether it be now or previously before COVID, people's wages and situations at work change. The salary is so important for these, or especially for the work to residents talent accredited. So if your salary has been reduced, your hours have been reduced, or you might not be working any longer, that's where you need to come and see us, because that can be a very big challenge for you. Police certificates, as I said before, you know, Filipinos are famous for being the world's workforce. So, you know, there's a lot of time that goes into getting them, that you might not be able to get them. You might need friends in a specific country, so you need to allow enough time to get those, but you also might need some support to get those, or have people on the ground, which you know, we can assist with also. Another thing that we see in our office is the difficulty sometimes of getting original documents or certified copies. You need to have these available for these particular applications. So please give yourself enough time to get them. Then, you know, there are logistics issues at the moment. There are issues on the ground, of course, as we all know, with recent events in the Philippines. So give yourself enough time, plan, and again, you know, this is where we come in and make sure that you have those plans available and in place, so when the time comes, you're ready. And that's where we will really come in and help you. This also applies to family members that you might want to include, such as your partner or your children. Look, if they're going to, you will need all their original or certified documents as well. It's not as easy as taking a picture on the phone and sending it through to you and then you printing it off. We wish it could be. We wish it could be, but unfortunately it can't. So again, there is a bit of project managing through these applications, and that's where a licensed immigration advisor can really help you, you know, get through that with as less interruption as possible.
Okay. Oh, that's a lot of translation that I have to do. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So what I can remember that Liam mentioned of the challenges are that about the wages. So of course, okay. So now I'm speaking in English. Okay. So yung challenges na mention ni Liam about sa ito nga sa residents from work is unang-una yung sa wages. So dahil nga sa nangyari sa yung mga COVID na nangyayari ngayon, so more or less lahat tayo affected sa pag-cut down ng mga wages. So isa yan sa mga titingnan natin and i-assess ng advisor. So hinihikayat namin kayo na makipag-usap sa mga immigration advisor para ma-assess nila kung kailan ba kayo magiging eligible and everything. Second thing is police certificates. So, syempre alam naman nating mga Filipino na most of us nagtrabaho sa other countries, for example, Middle East, ganyan. And baka kakailangan natin ng mga police certificates sa different countries na yun. So, isa yun sa mga titingnan ng immigration advisor once na nagpa-assess kayo sa amin. And also, I think, what else? About sa mga certified copies ng mga documents. So, yung mga yun, kasi dito sa residence from work, mostly paper-based yung ginagawa natin dito. So, ipapadala natin sa Pilipinas dito. So, may mga delay sa mga courier, ganun, DHL and everything. So, sinasabi ni Liam na dapat bigyan nyo ng oras yung pagsisend ng mga documents na mga ganyan. So, dapat bigyan nyo ng mas mahabang oras sa pag-gather ng mga documents. And lastly is about families. So, yung mga family members na i-include mo dito sa application na ito, dapat mostly kasi mga original or certified copies ng mga documents. So yun yung sinasabi ko din kanina na bigyan nyo ng oras na pag-send, oras yung mga courier, mga ganyan para makuha natin yung mga documents on time. Thank you, Liam. You're on mute.
Yep. Shouldn't be now. Thank you, Kat. So look, how can we help you, and how can our company walk you through this journey, which is a big journey. We are able to give you the best advice. Too many times we see Filipinos and other people, go and get unlicensed advice, whether that's friends, family. One of the biggest problems at the moment is forums, community forums and Facebooks. Yes, they may have got residence and they may have used a particular process or document, but that's not necessarily going to apply to every single person. So get proper advice from a licensed advisor. The other thing is do it once and do it correctly, because you're going to save money. If you do it 2 or 3 times, that's three applications and possibly 3 advisor fees. So do it once and do it correctly. Be wary of communications from outside, from different circles, and always go to your advisor if something comes up, because that's what we're here for, is to give you advice, give you guidance, and keep you on the right track. Look, if you have any circumstances that might be considered tricky, a little bit to the left of straight, as I mentioned before, come and have a chat to us. Some people might have, traffic offences. You may have been declined visas before, so that's where it needs to be managed correctly, and that's where we come in. So I'll pass it on to you, Kat.
Okay. So, paano kami makapag-assist dito sa residents from work nga? So, sinabi niya is first, mag-seek kayo ng advice sa sa isang immigration advisor. So, dahil nga sa mga nangyayaring mga disaster ngayon, so much better na mag-seek kayo ng advice from immigration advisor. And sabi nga niya na gawin nyo ng tama sa una pa lang para makasave kayo ng pera. Kasi kung gagawin nyo to ng twice or thrice, parang thrice na din kayo nagbayad ng assistance, not only assistance but immigration fee maybe. Also, magkakaiba kayo ng circumstances. So, hindi ibig sabihin na, for example, sa social media na sinabi na mag-apply ka lang nito, pero actually, dahil iba-iba tayo ng circumstances, so dapat, advisor lang makakapagsabi kung kailangan mo ito, ganyan. So, yun yung isang pwede namin i-assist sa inyo. So yung assessment ng advisor is true per each individual. And also, kung may mga tricky situation kayo, for example, may mga driving offense kayo dito sa New Zealand, or may mga medical conditions, ganyan, or mga ganong situation, or may decline kayo before, much better na mag-consult kayo sa immigration advisor. Yes?
Thank you so much, Kathleen. I think that your translation with a bit of Taglish in it has been amazing, because I understood everything as well. So thank you very much for that. We've got a few questions that have been popping up in the chat box, and I just thought I'd go through a couple of them. So I can see that someone's asked about workers that have got experience on dairy farms. Potentially you've got a pathway to residence that's outside of the specific topic that we were talking about tonight. So I recommend, if you haven't already, take note of the hello@Pinoy Visas email address, and please do send us an email and we can contact you and have a discussion separately to figure out if you meet any of the residence criteria, the normal ones or some of the additional ones that were announced as, depending on where you're based, there was a couple of other potential options as well. So we can assess to see what those might be. One of the other questions that I can see here, let me just scroll. is one about family members that don't live in New Zealand. So the question is, the wife doesn't, well, you said wife, so I'm going to say your spouse is not in New Zealand, and whether or not you can include them in your residence application. I've got I don't know if you can hear it, a sore throat, and I've been coughing all week. I don't have COVID. I have a negative test result to prove that, but I'll leave it with Liam maybe to answer the questions instead.
Thanks, Naseem. Look, yes, you can include your wife. What you would need to keep an eye open for, or keep a watchful eye on, is meeting partnership criteria. So if the question is, can my wife apply with me? Yes, she can. But you need to be very wary. We're very familiar with the Pinoy market. You just need to be wary of those periods where you haven't been living together, because immigration will want to know, one, how long, why, how did you stay together, how did you maintain your relationship. They will look into it, and they will look into it very deeply. So you just need to be aware of that. Your dependents, children, yes, they can be too, but there's a whole, that's quite a detailed process with dependents, and I believe that there's a question around dependents there. So I'll get into that with that question. But yes, wife can come, husband can come, if you want them to come.
Thanks, Liam. Catherine, I'll leave you to translate. I can't believe how quickly half an hour has actually gone by. So we might actually only be able to answer one more question after this.
Okay. Yep. So just to translate what Liam said, like his answer on that question about partners. So I keep forgetting. Okay. So sabi po ni Liam sa answer niya sa partnership is that pwede nyo pong isama yung partner nyo kahit nasa Pilipinas siya, pero ang magiging difficult kwan lang yan is yung sa pag-prove ng relationship ninyo, and also yung living together ninyo. So sa partnership visa kasi kailangan i-prove nyo daw yung nag-live together kayo. So i-question daw ng immigration kung paano kayo nagsama habang nasa ibang bansa ang asawa. Syempre hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin nagsama kayo kahit nasa iba, pero yung mga ganong question, so dapat ma-prove daw natin yan sa immigration New Zealand about sa partnership. Also yung na-mention din niya about sa dependents. So dependents naman, may iba-iba tayong situation about dyan, and mas detailed yung mga questions about sa dependents kasi i-basean sa taon and everything. So for now, about sa partner and sa dependents, yun muna. Okay. That's all. We have one more question.
I was going to suggest, Liam, did you just want to really quickly, super quickly, touch base on dependents, particularly those that are a little bit older, and then we'll try to get to one last question that I've just seen here regarding pay rates.
Yeah, sure. Dependents, quite straightforward, especially for under 17, they must be single. 17 to 18 years old, 18 to 20 years old, they should be single and not have any children. 21 to 24 is the difficult one. They must be single, not have any kids, and be financially dependent on an adult.
Okay, I'll just translate that one. Okay. So, sabi po ni Liam sa dependents, so ang 17 under, dapat single, 18 and to 20, dapat single and not married, and then 21 to 24, single, not married, no children, and dependent siya sa for example, sa tatay na nandito sa New Zealand or sa nanay nandito sa New Zealand. Yep.
Thanks, Kathleen. So just really quickly, I'll try to briefly address a couple of these questions. I'm sorry that this has taken longer than we expected and we don't have more time. But one of the questions, or actually a couple of people have asked the same thing, is about their salaries under the old rules. So if you lodged your current work to residence talent accredited employer prior to the changes in October last year, then you only need to have been earning 55,000 a year based on a 40-hour week. So if it was roughly 26.45 cents, then normally most people talked about it being 26.50, which is what it would break down to a per hour rate. So if you fall under those instructions, then that's how much you would still continue need to be paid in order to qualify now. If you're applying now for the first work to residence, then you need to meet the higher amount. The other question that is popping up several times is whether or not, if their pay hasn't changed, if that makes a difference. No, as long as you were earning that minimum amount, or if because of COVID you were earning less hours or your pay was adjusted, then you're going to have a slightly trickier situation. And in those circumstances, we recommend getting in touch with us so we can go through and assess how we can make it that you do qualify, so that you can apply for residence from work. I don't know if Kathleen wants to translate that.
Yep, I'll just quickly translate. So sa yung question niyo about sa salary, so sinabi na Nasim na pag nag-apply kayo ng work to residence before October last year, so ang dapat nyong i-meet na salary is 55,000 or more or less 26.45 per hour para ma-meet nyo yung requirement to apply for the residence from work. So yun yung kung nag-apply kayo before October last year. So kung nag-apply kayo this year, dapat ang rate nyo is 78,000 per year. Yeah, I think yung higher, yeah, higher kwan na ngayon kasi tumaas na siya. So dapat higher din yung rate nyo that time. So since nag-COVID nga, may mga changes, slight changes sa mga rate natin. So yun yung i-assess ng advisor. So nire-recommend namin na magpa-assess kayo sa advisor and then we'll see from there. Okay.
I just wonder if all the questions are like coming through and I can't read them fast enough because they're going out. But I guess just to summarize, if you are on a current work to residence, to apply for your residence from work, the sooner you start getting organized and obtaining advice, the better, because of those specific challenges that we mentioned that we know affects quite a lot of people who are currently here in New Zealand and looking for the pathway to secure their residence. The second thing is as Liam stated earlier, please don't get incorrect advice from well-wishing friends and family. We see it all too often. And although I appreciate that people are trying to help, sometimes they do more damage than good, and it can be hard to rectify those situations if you haven't received the right advice, prepared accordingly. And thirdly, to everybody who's asking if we can help with jobs, if you're here in New Zealand, please email us at the email address that hopefully Ashley can repost in the chat box. If you're here in New Zealand, we might be able to help by referring you on to some contacts that we have. Unfortunately, if you're offshore, the borders are closed. And not only is it hard to get a border exemption, it's currently really, really hard for New Zealand employers to get accredited with the POEA. So that's another current hurdle, but that doesn't mean that that will be the case in the future. So please do keep in touch by following our pages. And as soon as we have further updates about that process, we will provide that information as well. I don't know, Liam, if there was any specific question that you saw that popped up as everything was rushing past that you wanted to answer?
Yeah, I did, and it's really quick. Actually, there's been a few questions today about the same thing. Is can I get the residence from work before the 24 months is up? The short answer is no, because you need to meet the requirement of 24 months at the time of application. Maybe Kat can just clarify that too. And
yeah. Okay. So, para po, yung question niyo po about sa kung pwede na kayong mag-apply ng residence from work kahit hindi niyo pa na-reach yung 24 months. So, sabi ni Liam, hindi daw. Kasi kailangan nyo ma-meet yung requirements ng immigration na dapat naka 24 months kayo at least sa work residence ninyo and yung income and other requirements. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry, we've gone a little bit over time. Perhaps next time we will allocate maybe a longer webinar, and maybe we can just do a question and answer format based on questions that you email us, because I see that everyone has lots and lots of queries, and a lot of these questions will require us to actually go back and forth and get a little bit more information about individuals in order to be able to give you specific advice that you can rely on. But just again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We hope you got some value out of the information that Liam shared about the different things that you should be considering in order to be prepared and have your application ready to submit as soon as you qualify. We are more than happy to hear from you, so please do send us an email to book a time to chat to one of the licensed advisors here. There's a team of 8 licensed immigration advisors, and we have a big, as told earlier, a big team of support staff. We do have Filipino team members who speak Tagalog a lot better than I understand, so we will be able to assist you. So thank you again, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Salamat po.